The U.S. may have sent almost $4 million to the lab in Wuhan in order to have them research coronavirus in bats. That's right, and Dr. Anthony Fauci, the head of NIAID and part of the National Institutes of Health, may have actually been the one sending the money to that lab in Wuhan. New details emerging about this, exactly how much was given, why was it given in the first place, and how often has the U.S. funded research at this lab? Because remember, Fauci is now the man in charge of the U.S. response to the coronavirus, which would be very strange if he were responsible in part for the creation of this virus in the first place, or at least it getting out into the public. All of it today on Truth in Media. Welcome to the show. So much to get to today. I want to talk about this new report that's coming out that indicates about $3.7 million flowed from the National Institutes of Health here in the U.S. to the Wuhan lab in China, the same lab where many people have said that this coronavirus infection first originated. Remember, the Chinese claim it actually came from a market, a bat that was sold at a market. But now we have new information that indicates that the Wuhan lab that was studying coronavirus was also conducting experiments on bats from about 1,000 miles away. Those bats were collected in caves in another province about 1,000 miles from Wuhan. They were transferred back to Wuhan, and then they were being researched for research directly related to studying coronavirus. That lab is only 20 miles from the market where the Chinese government claims the coronavirus first came from. The Wuhan Institute of Virology undertook coronavirus experiments on mammals captured more than 1,000 miles away in Yunnan, which were funded by a $3.7 million grant from the U.S. government. Sequencing of the COVID-19 genome has traced it back to bats found in Yunnan caves, but it was first thought to have transferred to humans at an animal market in Wuhan. The revelation that the Wuhan Institute was experimenting on bats from the area already known to be the source of COVID-19, and doing so with American money, has sparked further fears that the lab, not the market, is the original outbreak source. Lawmakers and pressure groups were quick to hit out at U.S. funding being provided for the dangerous and cruel animal experiments at the Wuhan Institute. So that's the first part of the story, right? That apparently these original claims that it really whistleblowers in China had first indicated that this was a coronavirus that originated in a lab, not in a market, and that experiments were being done on animals, specifically on bats, that allowed this to get out into the public. That has already been out there. And then media has tried to quash that as calling it a conspiracy theory. Well, here's another part of this. So not only was $3.7 million given specifically by the U.S. government and the National Institutes of Health for studying coronavirus in these bats, but beyond that, we also now know that NIAID, the department associated with the National Institutes of Health, of which Dr. Anthony Fauci is in control, had already been conducting experiments with the Wuhan lab in the past in regard to coronavirus. Dr. Anthony Fauci's National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, NIAID, actually funded a study on bat coronavirus, which was a project that included scientists at the Wuhan Institute of Virology, the Chinese lab at the center of the controversy over their bat research. That study confirmed in 2018 that humans have died from coronavirus. Here's an excerpt from the April 4th, 2018 NIAID website entry entitled, "New Coronavirus Emerges from Bats in China, Devastates Young Swine." A newly identified coronavirus that killed nearly 25,000 piglets in 2016 to 2017 in China emerged from horseshoe bats near the origin of the Severe Acute Respiratory Syndrome coronavirus, or SARS, which emerged in 2002 in the same bat species. The new virus is named Swine Acute Diarrhea Syndrome Coronavirus, SADS. It does not appear to infect people, unlike SARS, which infected more than 8,000 people and killed 774. But again, what is important here is that it was also the National Institutes of Health, under which NIAID, Dr. Anthony Fauci's NIAID is a part, that actually funded that $3.7 million research project on coronavirus in bats studied in Wuhan. The study was headlined, "Discovery of a Rich Gene Pool of Bat SARS-Related Coronaviruses Provides New Insights into the Origin of the SARS Coronavirus." But here's part of the problem, is that when someone like Dr. Anthony Fauci, who is in charge of the coronavirus response, the media is hyping him like crazy. We've already shown you how his connection to Bill Gates and the Gates Foundation is essentially pushing for a new global mandated vaccine, specifically for coronavirus. And also, if Dr. Anthony Fauci cannot be honest with the public about his work in the past associated with this lab, and if he has not been honest in the past about his connection to this lab, then Fauci has to go. He becomes a danger to a public that is trying to restore lives, get businesses back to order, put people back into some form of normalcy. And yet if he is the one and his organization is helping to fund the research that started this whole thing, and that has not been disclosed, it is disgraceful. We're going to have much more on this in the coming days. So much to talk about, but thanks for watching this episode. And be sure to check out the other ones. We're doing a lot of work on this. Check them out on my Facebook, my Instagram, and my YouTube. See you guys soon.